Hi everybody and welcome back. Alright, so you should have your account, and if you go ahead and open up Studio, the first screen that you are presented with is this one here, which is the template screen. So it presents you with a variety of starting projects for you, and I encourage you to jump in and have a look at those. But to avoid distraction and too much going on, we'll just click on base plate up the top here, and if you click on the base plate, you'll be opened with a fresh, clean, blank sort of template for us to work with. So this video is just looking at the interface, and I know it can be a bit confusing. There's a lot of windows and buttons and things going on. However, we're just going to familiarize ourselves with the main ones here. Alright, so Studio, we work with the four main windows that you see here. Okay, so this one here, alright, this is called the workspace. So it's listed over here in the Explorer window. Alright, and that's what this is. This is the workspace, and this is where all of the action takes place, building, etc., and what you see in the game. Alright, so this window over here, the Explorer window where I just clicked, it lists all of the objects that are present in the project at the moment. So we won't go through all of these. We will be looking at them throughout the course. However, if we click on the drop down arrow on workspace, it shows that it has some things inside. Some of them you can see, others you can't. For example, the base plate, if you click on that, is this big grey object in here, and if you click on the spawn point, it's this object here. And when you click on something, you'll see a little thin line around the edge, little blue lines around the edge here if you select something. Alright, so if I just clicked on that and hit F on my keyboard to zoom in, which I will be talking about in future videos about how to move around. However, for now, so this is the Explorer window. Down below here is the Properties window. So whatever is selected in the Explorer window at the top here, it lists its properties down the bottom here. Alright, so all the things about this object. For instance, its color here. So if I clicked on the color, and then I can move around and I can change its color to something else. And every object in the game has different sort of properties. So I could change the ground, etc. And we'll be doing more of this in another lesson. Alright, but that's what the properties window is. Okay, down here at the bottom we have the output window. This gives us messages in the game that we either create to give ourselves feedback. It'll also give these sort of messages in here which don't necessarily mean anything. Usually if they're in blue, that's fine. Red ones you should look at carefully. But if you get messages here, you can come over and get rid of those by clicking on the broom icon, and that will clear it. You can also right click here and click on clear output. Alright, so those are the four windows that we're mainly concerned with. Now the only other thing we'll cover in here are the tabs up the top. So we'll start on the left. The Home tab, this is the default tab that opens when you launch Roblox Studio. It provides quick access to recently opened places, templates and resources. So you can see the things in here. So if we move over to the Model tab, alright, now models are things within the game, and it provides us with parts, materials for our parts, and a whole bunch of other things in here that we will be discussing as we move along as well. The Avatar tab at the top, alright, that's to do with characters, and when we create animations or rigs or anything to do with characters or players, then we can find it underneath this tab here. The Test tab, okay, lets us simulate a server where we can have 2 or up to 8 players there running, and we can also run our project on a device. So we can change it to an iPad, or there's a whole bunch of options in here that you can select. Alright, our View tab changes things that we can see within the world. Now, in particular, at the moment, the ones that we're concerned about, if you look up the top here, you'll see that they are grayed out. Alright, so this is our Explorer window. If I turn that off, and our Properties window, and our Output window, alright, then they will disappear. So if you ever close them by accident and you want to know, come up to the View tab, and the Explorer window is the big one on the left. Properties, we'll put this back over here, and if you move your mouse over the top of these, you'll get a tooltip that comes up. So it's the second one from the right up the top for the output window down the bottom. Now, if for some reason you ever move your window, such as this, and you want to put it back where it was down the bottom, you'll see when I move it around on the screen, you get this cross in the middle. Now, if you move your mouse while you're left clicking and holding to the bottom there, you'll see the outline comes up, and you can then let it go and it will put it back in that position. So you may want to reposition your windows around that suits you better. I tend to just leave them how they are. Alright, and the last tab up the top here is the plugins tab. Now, I have a couple of plugins here. There are lots and lots of different plugins that you can explore in Roblox Studio, and you can come over to the Manage Plugins tab over here, and if you left click on that, you'll have a window that sort of pops up like this. And if you want to look at plugins, you can click on the plus over here, close that window, and then these are the plugins that you can get. Now, the numbers next to these mean how many Robux they cost, which is the Roblox currency. However, there are plenty of plugins that are free and that you can try out. So if you're finished with that, you can close the window. Now, if we come back to our Home tab, the only other thing I'll mention is the Toolbox. So on the Home tab, if you left click on Toolbox, you'll get the same sort of window come up here. And this drop down menu on the left here, you can look at models. So these are things that people have made that you can add into your game. Now, just a word on Toolbox. There's everything in here. If something, for instance, has scripts in it, so this one here, for example, has scripts. So let's say I click on the magnifying glass, it will give me a warning that it has scripts in here. Now, not everything in here will be good. It could potentially add viruses to your computer in Studio. They're not malicious in the way that they attack your computer or steal your personal information, but they can put up annoying messages and things within Studio. So it's best to avoid things that say contain scripts when you're a beginner in particular. And if you ever do click on and insert something, nothing will happen until you actually run or play the game, till it's executed. So if you wanted to go through this item and delete all of the scripts out of it before you saved and ran it, then that would be fine. Just be wary and try to stick to things that are made by Roblox in particular. All right, which, see this symbol here with the little gold next to it? This means that it's a safe item, so you can go ahead and use those. All right, so that's a little bit of a basic tour around the software, and we will be making use of various parts of this during the course. So we'll leave it there, and we will pick it up again in the next video, where we'll start to actually show you how to do some of the things that will let you code and make your own games. So I'll see you there.